I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll now call the regular city council meeting to order, and I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, with your permission, we do need to modify the consent agenda amount. In your packets, we did not have the payment warrant for the truck that is out front.
Okay.
So that adds $28,674 to the amount that's in your folder to sign this evening.
I saw that.
Yeah, so our warrants this evening will total $144,245.11.
Okay, is there any questions about that?
I move to approve the consent
Second.
agenda, or the agenda, I'm sorry.
Did he make the move?
I move to approve the agenda.
So I second it.
Okay, very good. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Public forum, limited agenda items only. No one? Move to number 5, approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
I second.
And move second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. 3-0. Number 6, zoning fee modification request. Margot?
Well, I'd like for you to consider making nonprofits the same rate as residential throughout the entire, fee schedule for zoning.
Nonprofit organizations,
Yes,
why were they twice as much?
We're considered commercial previously in the zoning regulation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and Margo's requesting that it go to residential, which gives them a break on it. But they have to provide a copy of their actual certification as a 501c3 or C6.
Okay. Anything else?
no, I just think it would be a good thing to do, so,
I'll entertain a motion to approve zoning fee modification request.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0.
thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Number 7, KPP financial scorecard for 2020. Roger?
Okay. Each year, the Kansas Power Pool has to do a financial review of all of the members. It's used as part of the rating process with Fitch and Moody's as far as their bond rating. They've completed our rating for the year of 2020, and our overall performance was scored as a grade A, excellent performance. If you go down the financial scorecard results, we earn points on everything except for our net income as a percent to operating revenue. Last year, because of COVID and a lot of the things with utility collections where, we didn't know cancellation of services for that 6-month period.
Right.
We ended up operating at 0.48 loss, okay, with everything else in there. But overall, we earned 49 of the 48 points. We did earn a bonus point, and their rating is 102, and we're seen as one of the strongest financial, not the largest, just one of the strongest financial numbers within the Kansas Power Pool. I wanted to share that information with you and our citizens.
So did we fall into the grade A then, 85 to 100?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Any questions from the council?
Does that result in any savings or reduction in expenses or?
No, but it did help, when they're issuing the bond for our project, their rating was stable, A minus. And again, it's because of the pool itself has a financial statement, but they look at all of the members and overall how it played out. So we got the best possible rate. And when I say we, it was combining the 10 projects that they're doing together. So it's just important that all of the utilities run their utilities as a business.
Gary?
What?
You got anything?
No, I just was turning my cogs on it, what he was saying, talking about, about that.
Well, that's great news.
Yeah.
Number 8, KDHE water line loan discussion. Roger?
Okay. When we entered into the contract for this project, our first principal payment was to come due August of 2021. We've been contacted by the chief of the state revolving fund, and since our project just now is past the 50% completion, if council would desire, we can delay our first payment until February of 2022. It is the recommendation of staff that we take advantage of this. That way, we don't start with any kind of rate increase and doing all until the project is complete. Then we'll implement the rates necessary to fund this as part of our agreement. And all it does is, when we complete our project, we're gonna have an addendum to the original contract, because we were able to secure the $600,000 for the grant. See, our original loan agreement was for the $3,934,000. I forgot what the change is, but $3,984,000. Our project will be $3,364,000, and the way it's trending right now will quite possibly be less than that. So when we complete. So we'll be doing an addendum to this loan agreement at the end. If we delay the first payment, it'll allow us to close out the project, do the addendum, and then make the first payment next February, if that's acceptable with council. If not, we did budget for 2021 second half to make the payment.
That payment would roll over to next year.
Correct.
That we budgeted. Okay.
No, the budget authority will be re-granted for next year.
Right.
This basically just slides the repayment table 6 months down.
Okay. Any questions?
We gotta vote on it?
Yeah. I'm
Sounds
sure
like
we
a
will.
no-brainer.
Yeah, right.
Well, I would move that, we delay the first principal payment date to February of 2022 on the loan, KDHE loan for the water line project.
Second.
And move seconded, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 3-0. Number 9, 2022 municipal budget discussion.
Okay. At our last meeting, we discussed the budget. There was conversation and direction offered to staff on which way that we should go with this. And at that time, council's desire appeared to be that we would hold the revenue neutral rate hearing, okay, in order to notify the county clerk. We need to give them our planned mill levy rate. After our budget workshop and then the conversation from last week, the staff, 2 weeks ago, the staff went back we were asked to hold the current mill levy assessment for 2021, what we're right now, is 71.945. I've got that wrong. For 21, it's 71.947. The budget that we've got before you this evening is a slight reduction of just 0.02% mill levy. We're proposing 71.945. So the net impact for our residents, they're gonna see no change on their tax statements from the city side, okay? But we still are required to hold the hearing, because right now our projected valuation is an increase of $51,899 in valuation. So with that, it made this new calculation, the revenue neutral rate, fall in as at $71. 71.358. So over the revenue neutral rate, we're a slight increase, just under 0.5 will be, but in actuality, what our customers experience on their property tax bills right now, this is flat. There's no, there's no 4.7 down. The way that we got this, as we discussed at our last meeting, we wanted staff to look at the revenue projections and try to get about 40% of the difference there, and then find additional reductions in expenses. And we articulated that the infrastructure focus on streets, the electrical and the water supply were still important. In the capital improvement budget, we budgeted $150,000 for street replacement and for sealing. That's up $50,000 from what we budgeted in this current year. We have the electrical project that will be wrapped up early in 22, and then the water supply, we've allotted the funds in there to go with what we're getting from the American Rescue Plan to do one of the water towers in 21 or 22. Either way, we'll have the second one under contract by the end of 22. We have until the end of 2024 to complete those two water storage tank refurbishments. Okay. So the funds are still in this budget for that.
Does that include painting that east one?
It does.
Good.
Letter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the letters.
Yeah, the actual tank, it just needs a couple of foundational footings under the legs painted. The tank itself, the aluminum coating is still in good shape. But we do need to repaint the lettering on that. The small water tower will be our first priority to get that one taken care of, because of the holes in the overflow pipe, and then the footings need to be shored up and sealed. The reduction in expenses, we had cut back on the part-time workers for the parks and cemetery. However, we're still having full-time employees assigned to both of those entities, as council requested last year. Okay. So that remains in there. The equipment reserve and then the KPNF retirement funds were adjusted, totaling 11.6 thousand. Street and alley reduced a few of their commodities in their line item by 1,500. The water revenue increase that's shown here is what we will have to do in a rate increase to cover the debt service requirements on the project moving forward. So this evening, we're asking of council, first off, if there's any additional direction on the budget, we do have more time to discuss this. If you issue the guidance to Tiffany to notify the county clerk of our intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate with a proposed mill levy of 71.945, then we will hold that hearing August 23rd. We will then file a certified budget by October 1st with the county, which ultimately goes up to the state.
Any questions? Okay. I think we agreed to, go to next February, right? To next February to file the budget.
October,
Yeah, October.
okay.
Okay.
February's the payment, for the water loan.
Yeah, okay,
We'll be filing the budget by October 1st of this year.
okay. Number 10, notice of revenue neutral rate in 10.
Okay, that's the formal action that we need, a vote of council. And basically, it's instructing Tiffany to file with the county clerk this following statement: the governing body of the city of Marion, Kansas hereby notifies the Marion County Clerk of intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate. Yes, we intend to exceed the revenue neutral rate, and our proposed mill levy rate is 71.945. The date of the hearing is August 23rd at 4:30, will be held at the Marion City Council Chambers located at 203 North 3rd Street, Marion, Kansas. And we need a motion of instruction for Tiffany to go ahead, file that, and affix the seal of the city.
Also moved. Second?
Second.
And move to second, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 3-0. Any questions from the councilors tonight? I do have, one, you got that backup water supply meter purchased, when do we have that installed yet, or is it gonna be installed?
We do not. Tim contacted the state director of water rights and is getting the exact information on where it has to be installed in the line.
Oh, okay.
We'll get it installed, and then, our backup water right will be fully usable.
Okay. You might talk to your street department about this, there's chuck holders again and again, they're on just north of Jerry's house
Okay.
on Lincoln Street. We have any timetable at all when that can be concreted in?
Mr. Head has asked us to remove the 200 block of Roosevelt this week, and he was going to work on the curb line to replace that when he does that street pull. So probably 10 days out
Okay,
before Davey will be pouring that. And, then our crews will do the flat work once the curb line is redone, so
so we can go ahead and do the street portion of it?
now we've been asked by Davey to wait until he does the curb line to get the drainage, so then we can make the street surface match.
Oh, okay. Alright. That's all I got.
Been a long time.
Randy, you have anything for us?
Nothing other than, hope to see you at the Marion Can event Friday evening, and you and the rest of the citizens of Marion.
Okay,
unless you have questions.
Clinton,
Nothing?
Susan?
No.
Tiffany?
Nothing.
Roger, anything further?
I did wanna give a brief update. We held a pre-construction meeting for the 12-5 electrical upgrade project. Tentatively, the contractor is looking at an October timeframe to come in and get started on the physical, construction. Through the Kansas Power Pool, we've begun this Friday, we will have all of the requests for bids on the materials, and we'll be purchasing those materials, so they're landed before, the crews come in to start construction. The estimate that we got from a consulting engineering firm for the substation came in considerably below what the initial estimate was. And in working with Kansas Power Pool, we're going to, instead of just putting one new recloser for the new circuit, we're gonna go ahead and replace the 2 other existing reclosers. So we'll have all new metering and control equipment on each one of our 12-5 legs when this project's done, and it still will be within the budget.
Good. Any questions? Public forum.
Hi.
Jody, you wanna say something?
Yes. I am back to see if we can get our street dance going again. It's really nice to be able to do events downtown. We are looking at the last weekend in August, but I am still coordinating everything that goes along with that. So, before we nail down anything, I just wanted to come and present it to you guys and see if you guys are all on board for another event to happen. That way we can just go on from here and nail down all of the details.
I don't have a problem with it, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Thank you. That also being said, I will be back in, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
I would like to go ahead and just mention something. We are applying for a CMB for the shop, so that way when we have wedding parties, large groups, a lot of times the boys will bring in clients from their Dude Ranch and stuff like that, and we'll have 5, 8, 10 people in the shop at a time. And we would like to bring in caterers or be able to serve them a beer or something like that while they sit. Just like a bridal party when they're being fitted for a dress, we would like to do that same service for the gentlemen when they come in and be fitted and things like that. As well as moving into like street dance things, we would like to be able to put a beer garden out front of the store. If we have this, it'll help us be able to put on events and stuff like that and be able to provide drinks and things like that downtown.
Okay.
I just figured I would let you guys know what our plans were and hope to have your support in the future for that as well.
Okay, well, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Who is our?
The street dance,
Yeah, who's working on
I
this?
kind of am the motivating factor for this, but I am working really hard to get other businesses involved. And at the merchant meeting this morning, we did bring up, or I brought up maybe putting together a nonprofit program in the community that helps build programs and different events and activities in the community that would network like social media and different ways for us to reach out and branch and work together as far as a community. That being said, we'll take donations at the street dance. It'll be a free event, brought to you by our businesses and things like that. We've had huge turnouts from multiple businesses last year, or the year before that we did it. I returned everybody's checks last year that donated, but we had the pharmacy, Security First Title, Casey Case was one of our big supporters. We had quite a few businesses in town jump on board with that.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think there's anybody else from the public. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I moved to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.